Okay, welcome back, man. You know what time it is. Like it or hate it. It's that guy, as blue as it gets. Welcome back or welcome here if it's your first time. We got episode 2 of Hard Knocks off season with the New York Football Giants. A real interesting episode, chock full of a lot of information that we're gonna try to cut through as fast as we can because we don't want to run out of time, right? All right. Episode was kind of short too. It was chock full of stuff, but it felt kind of like it just ran through it, right? Because it got really with maybe two or three main threads that were in this episode, and that was like filled mostly with discussion around Barkley and the contract signing and the negotiations and stuff that were going on there. And then we got more on the scouting and the combine views and how they were looking at guys from the quarterbacks, wide receivers, and whatever positions and things like that. And we got just a bit on the defensive side with Brian Burns and the discussions around that, and a tad little um, just breeze over the Daniel Jones situation. They really touched Daniel Jones wasn't really a subject matter of the story. He just more of a side discussion when the team was discussing, or Joe Schoen and the staff were discussing the larger picture for the team. But let's go ahead and get into it, and let's try to get her done. Um, I guess we'll get right into it, man. Um, the whole discussion around the negotiations with Saquon Barkley. If we're going to get directly to it, this is what we heard, right? Okay. The offer from the Giants was about 12.5, or it was because Shane said this 12.5 for about 3 years. Um, and yeah, and we know what he left for was slightly more. The guarantee from us was 25. The guarantees he got from Philadelphia was 26, and a little bit more in the overall contract. Yeah. Now let's get down to it here when we're thinking about this 12.5 contract, because people are going to try to put it off certain ways, which is whatever. But what matters most is the fact of the matter is here when we're crunching up these numbers, and not to play it off like this 12.5 number is something that's blowing Saquon away, or should have blown him away, and he immediately snatched it up and took it. Um, Here's the thing, man. If that 12.5 offer is from last year, if we understand this correctly, we're taking this into the proper context that it should be. Um, yeah, that 12.5 offer was from last year. We do know that the franchise tag last year was about a little over 10 million, but that Saquon signed for about 11 with some incentives to maybe push him just a little bit further towards 12, maybe 12 and a half. I don't know. I can't exactly remember the incentives base because it was based on catches and receiving yards and things like that. But yeah, that number last year of the franchise tag, what it was. This year's franchise tag now is $11.9 million. Okay, $11.9 million. The offer that Joe Shane announced, what we saw in the episode, what they offered to Barkley from last year now was $12.5 million. That is only about 400,000 more, than the franchise tag. And we were trying to really discuss these top end talents and how they're trying to be appreciated properly in their contracts in comparison to things like the franchise tag or other additional players. That number doesn't sound all that enticing. If I were Saquon Barkley, so I can understand why he did not really like that offer even last year, and how or this year's uh, franchise tag number kind of lets him know that he probably shouldn't have took that offer, because he would only been making 400K more this year, and next year's franchise tag is very possibly going to increase to even surpass that 12.5. And then he's just really out there clowning, and not a good look when you consider, the type of impact that he's had in his team and the offense, and just the whole franchise's face, and everything else that came with it. Um, that's just not a good thing. So it just goes into more how we carry from last episode and this one, and Joe Shane's overall evaluation of the position itself, and how he was valuing Barkley's impact to the team, work to the team, even in the 2 years he was just here, of course. But how he was carrying that. into the overall approach. It just didn't seem like even Joe Schoen even understand what the value was at the position. He said it himself. He didn't know what the RP position was, but there were many others out there. Like I've already said several times and announced in several other places that, that number was probably about 13, 14 million. And I said this the time ago when the contract discussion's going on. Not to, pump my own self up. I'm just speaking relative facts here because when he says this stuff about the position and not understanding the value, people understood the value, man. It's just that you weren't trying to appreciate that value is what's the real deal about it. Because 12.5 to 11.9 is not like, and 11.9 is some change in there. So it's not like it's just an easy pickup for a top end player or for Barkley to accept it. Um, if things were perfectly better, man, because people try to put out like he lied about it. He ain't lied about it. He just said, "Yo, they never came back and really matched that offer that I got from the Eagles." And what that really means, man, outside of layman terms, is that if he comes back with that offer, then this whole thing that Shane was trying to push throughout the episode, he kept trying to play up about Saquon taking a hometown discount, man. Yeah, that played up into it last year, and he took that hometown discount by taking that franchise tag and even showing up to the practices like he was, when that whole thing was going on. You don't try to play him into the next year, try to shortchange him again, and try to push him again on the phone. Hey, Saquon, if you really want to be here, you'll accept this bad offer from me. That's only really 400,000 more than the franchise tag was, and it's the offer we gave you last year. We didn't even really try to refresh it for you like that, to put you over in that 13 range in comparison with the franchise tag. It's just bad look. But that is what it is. And when we discuss this, we discuss it as passe, past stuff. We don't discuss it like it's just now upcoming. We have to worry about it. Now the man's already gone from this team, and that's why with the four, last few episodes here that I cut, I don't really concern myself about his play because only the 53 here is what's going to matter for our play and what our season look like. Not the 53 plus Saquon on the Philadelphia Eagles. It's not what's going to get us our W's, the majority of our W's that we would need to go anywhere. That's not it, right? So I don't really try to keep too much more on, holding Saquon to anything regarding the franchise or the fan base, because it's not like he's been outright disrespectful. He's just been like, "Hey, man, I ain't control it. I need the proper respect and appreciation." Much like even Xavier McKinney was saying in his tweet before he left the team that he was just looking to be appreciated in all the ways that he should, man. And you can't fault a player from that. Quarterbacks leave for the same reasons, even though they more than likely are going to get what they're demanding at that time. Wide receivers leave at the same reason. Linebackers, defenders, and O linemen leave teams for the exact same reasons. So we're not going to fault, or at least I won't be faulting Saquon Barkley for going to go and get his proper appreciation, especially, and it's really falls more on the team because he did leave, but they let him go. Um, they let him go in general. They let him go to a rival, is what it turned out to be for him. And they had real no idea that that was a thing. Well, one guy had an idea, Rossetti. He had an idea, and maybe McDonald had an idea that somebody else might get him. But Joe Schoen didn't seem to have really an idea in that. And that's why we questioned if this man might just be the slowest man in the room. When you really think about it, from Dayball and everybody else, Dayball talked about running a 7 flat. Damn, Shane might be 3 seconds behind you, bro, because he's not looking like he's always is up to task about some of these things. Not saying his experience and his worthy in his position now, just that missing on things. Okay, he just seems to be missing sometimes, and that doesn't even only go into re-signing of or not re-signing of Saquon Barkley or the re-signing of Daniel Jones, but just only even his some of his draft picks who have come in, namely really on the offensive line side of the ball with and the free agent moves that don't just, that say, hey, man, it's not just because Saquon gone that we look at you weird or just because you signed DJ to whatever contract that we look like we do. Is that you're not even drafting right sometimes. We don't know if you're drafting right. Um, not that this embark on any players who have been drafted while he's been here and played okay and well and stuff. But namely some of the positions like Hyatt and et cetera, they can only play so well from what they get from the QB in that regard. And yeah, talking about the QB position now, probably breeze over more in Saquon, is that we looked at some of the combine stuff of the guys they brought in from JJ McCarthy, Drake May, Caleb Williams, and Jaden Daniels. And we got some good stuff there about them drawing up some plays and some schematics, having to move routes or player positions to other sides, X's to Y position, F, to a Z position, and having them recall it back, you know, on professional level stuff that they're looking out of them. And it was cool. It was very cool to see the players. All of them look, decent. I doubt they would try to make any one of them look bad. That'd be kind of a bad decision on the Giants' part, because they have final editing rights to try to paint any of those guys in a bad light on an episode, and they didn't. All was good stuff. It was cool to see. The wide receivers, really what we got more of a feel on. Guys like Rome Odunze and Malik Nabers, our guy here. Real feel on what they plan to do on the teams they get to. And we are absolutely happy having Malik Nabers because he comes in as the type of talent who seems like he's ready to drive himself and the team to a new level and isn't really looking to be, just waylaid and terribleness the whole time. Man, the man is saying that he hates, losing more than he loves winning. So that lets you know the type of attitude he's going to have on the field when it's time for him to be getting that ball and it's time for the team itself to be putting them some points on the board, how he's going to feel about it. He's going to want to get it done. And I have no, problem with that. Respectfully, as it must be, to say that if the QB is playing like trash, that man's not going to be trying to hear that for too long. And I don't blame him because we ain't going to be trying to watch that ourselves, the fandom. Yeah. With Brian Burns here, we got a little bit with Christian Watkins thing because there was some news things out there that the Giants might have selected the wrong guy to go with to add to what they need to on the defensive line. But Brian Burns was scouted out well. They talked to Joe Schoen was seen, or we had footage of him talking with Shane Bowen about it, and Shane Bowen is seeing very open to the fact. Seemed like, hey, you give me Brian Burns, now we got a defense that we can start doing stuff with. Um, and so it looks like that's promising from what we've been getting from scouting earlier, in this off season about what he's looking for. And of course, they kind of made a little crack about getting the cornerback out there too. So our cornerbacks probably need to play up. All right, and that's cool too because we need everybody to play up. Yeah, man. As they closed out, man, it kind of went back to Saquon there again, and Shane getting some footage of Shane actually talking to Saquon's agent in this, which was interesting because the agent pretty much straight up asked him, do you see Saquon on this team? Like, do you value him when you lay down at night and you look up at the ceiling, in your high ceiling roof there, do you see Saquon on this team? Do you, value him? You see him as an impact player here. And Shane seemed to waffle on that whole idea. He seemed like nah, man, I lay down and I close my eyes right to sleep. I fall right to sleep like a baby, man. I ain't worried about it. Because he was emphasizing that if Saquon wanted to be here, that he was gonna take, if he wanted to be a Giant for life, that he can accept this bad offer. And you can't play a player like that. That's just bad business. It's good business sense as far as you counting up every last little penny that you want to count up. But don't clown around, like, because we understood that the cap goes up every year, man. And that's the thing that they try to play with quarterback position in general. Is this whole idea that you give them money just because, and that the cap goes up so you don't worry about it. Well, apply these things to the same positions or I'm sorry, to other positions, the same way that you try to play it up like you do for quarterbacks so adamantly. You should just be able to immediately do it. So for the other positions, that's in the form of probably giving Saquon Barkley that $1 million extra that would have kept him here, really. Because the agent asked him, Shane was waffling, and after he hung up with the agent, he called Saquon. And I imagine, well, we already know from what we heard that Saquon wasn't sounding overly ecstatic about having this discussion start out like it was with Shane. Because if the man was saying he was going to come back, he was like, all right, we got you going, man. We got you what you wanted. We got you close to what you wanted. And this is what we got here for you. And yeah, let's go. Let's get it done. And, that wasn't what it was. And you can't blame the person, Barkley in that regard. Don't hold it against him for actually going to see his value. Because Shane said, go ahead and test the market. So don't put it out like, Saquon lied to the team about not getting or not accepting the offer or them not offering him a contract. No, they after they offered him was 12.51 they left on the table from last year. And as I discussed, that's only about 400K more than the franchise tag. And if you look at what the franchise tag will be the next year, then he would be under that franchise tag, and it would not be a good look for him as the talent player that he is, and just for the overall position of trying to raise the upper tiers of the position pays up to keep pace with the increasing revenue for these teams and the salary cap because the team itself only estimated the salary cap to be about 240,000, and in actuality, it came in at 255 million. I'm sorry, yeah, 240 million what they estimated, but it came in at 255 million. So about 15 million, on their conservative um, estimate. And that's why I have funny they use that word conservative because it seems like it's an overly conservative approach of how they'll treat the offense production. They don't expect much out of it. They expect it to be razor thin and to do stuff. And then they have a conservative approach and actually playing the talent to keep them here, which is not solely a Joe Schoen thing. It's been a franchise thing, it feels like, for a while. Even going back to trading OBJ, because it's funny, man, that the team talks about this home discount stuff, and but they don't want to offer the franchise appreciation discount, which means giving the players, closer to what they're trying to get in comparison with the market is displaying that they possibly can get. Why give them that opportunity to go out and test the market when you can get them close to what they would maybe get while testing the market? And even though they can might understand that I might be able to get a little bit more, but I do like it here. So I'm gonna take this, and that's what it is. And if it was that for Saquon, I'm pretty sure he would have accepted the offer. But like I say, that 12.5 and doing the math, it wasn't matching up um the way it was supposed to be. I got one more thing here. This really closes out. You know, the team as far as when they were talking about talents they want to bring and they said that they wanted a player who's a real dog, a diva, and all that stuff. This is when talking about the receivers because they're saying that the top end talents are sometimes divas at the position. They're dogs. They want to get at it, and that's cool and all. And that's what I say, this is prior to Shane on this. It goes back in that when they discussed Malik Nabers and bringing him in with that concern of the market and him being a talent that might speak out in some ways that could possibly affect a quarterback. Daniel seemed fine with having him. And this makes me wonder back to why they even got rid of Odell Beckham Jr. Because many of the reasons they got rid of him were because he was talking in ways that would make a quarterback feel uncomfortable. When it seemed like DJ would have been fine with an Odell Beckham Jr. Yeah, it plays more into how this franchise has been handling their business and kind of being scared of the talent they have on the team sometimes. Yeah, it was a great episode though. I think that's pretty much all I'm gonna cover on it. Um, you know, d- like they spoke, man, like the reality of the team can't be where the team is coming out 0-3, and then we go look to Daniel, and Daniel comes in, and DJ is not playing very good. They understood that. That's why they said we have to make sure we have a backup. You know, they understand what this is, and we know that's even talking 0-3 because Daniel's not back yet. We don't even know if Daniel's really going to be back yet. Who knows? He said he will. We're going to trust what he said because we hold ours down like that, I guess. But it's not just an easy breeze over for this team right now. And these hard knock things are not just justifying their choices like the major majority of people are going to try to do because it's the easiest thing to do. Because, sticking up for our position is the unpopular thing to do. It's not the easy commercial thing to do. So, but like I say, we do the math, look at the franchise tag, the 12.5 offer. You look at the player Saquon is, the talent, what he meant to the franchise. Do you really think that's something that 400K is enough to make somebody say like, oh, I'm taking a hometown discount and not getting fucked over at the same time? I don't know. Debatable discussion for me. But that's it, man. It's your boy as blue as it gets. Thank y'all for sticking by, stopping by, returning, or if it's your first time here, welcome here. And yeah, we just do this with the fandom and for the fandom. Um, like it or hate it. Like, subscribe, comment, all welcome down there. Leave it where you do. Peace out, y'all. Well.